Hello and welcome to today's matchup between the Emmanuel Lutheran Lancers and the Lincoln Hornets. Today for the jump ball for the Lancers will be Schmidt, and Yeski will do it for the Hornets. Straight away, over to Cummings, puts one up, rebounded by Nikolai. All the way over to Albrecht in the corner. Back up top, stolen away, back into the hands, tipped away. Cummings will end it up with it. Back over to Bauer, down to the post, puts one up, unable to finish. And Yeski will pass it in down low. Goes deep to Bauer. Bauer will drive inside. Pass out to Cummings. Cummings. Round. Meant for Flick, but is unable to get it. Over to Cummings. Cummings off the leg of the Lancer. Into the hands of Albrecht. Albrecht puts one up, unable to finish. And Flick with the rebound. Over the wing. Cummings trying to drive inside. Unable to finish. Out top to Flick. Flick. Out to Bauer. Bauer up back up top to Yeski. Yeski gonna drive all the way in. Hand off. Flick attempts a three on no good. Albrecht will take it up the floor for the Lancers. To the corner over the head of Hammett, and that'll be going back to the Hornets. Cummings will bring it up over to the wing. Back up top. Driving inside. Flick, three! Knocks it down! Flick gets an early three to put the Hornets on the board. Hammett puts it into Pfeiffer across the line. Albrecht looking for something. Finds Hammett across the court. Hammett tries to get it into Nikolai. That'll be a foul. On the Hornets. Pfeiffer dribbling around over to Hammett. Hammett gonna drive inside over to Schmidt. Schmidt out to Albrecht. Albrecht with the three. Not quite there off the rim. And Cummings will get the rebound. Cummings over to Bauer. Bauer looking. Finds the post. Strussel. Mishandled by Bauer, and that'll go back to the Lancers. Pfeiffer gets across the line to Hammett. Hammett. Stripped by Bauer. Bauer one-on-one with Hammett. That'll be off. Hammett staying with the Hornets. Amond and Morrison coming in for Nikolai and Pfeiffer for the Lancers. Get it in to Bauer. Bauer gonna drive in. Puts up a shot off the backboard. No good. Into the hands of Albrecht. Albrecht over the head of Bauer and right into the hands of Yeski. Bauer puts one up and it is good. 5-0. Lancers remain scoreless. Hammett over to Albrecht. Albrecht driving inside. Out to Morrison. Cross court tipped. And that'll stay with the Lancers. Albrecht. Down to the post. Out to Amon. Over to Hammett. Hammett jumps. Unable to finish. Rebounded by Yeski. Is going to push it all the way. Not able to finish with the layup. And Morrison will get the rebound. Over to Albrecht. Stripped by Bauer. And I'll go with the Hornets. Hammett taking it up the floor. Hand off to Morrison in the corner. Tight D, trying to get across. And Bauer will foul. Nikolai will come in for Schmidt. And Hammett will take it up for the Lancers. Get across the line to Morrison. Down to Nikolai, out to Albrecht. Right into the hands of Bauer. Bauer gonna try to go all the way. Goes all the way, unable to finish. Nikolai holds onto the ball, hands it over to Hammett. And Hammett will be fouled by Bauer. Subs for the Hornets. Hammett over, tip, stolen away by Cummings. Nice finish there from Jan. Pfeiffer gets it across all the way to Morrison in the corner. Back up to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer tries to put one up, stolen away by Cummings. Cummings to the corner, John, 3, knocks it down! Timeout, the Lancers. Hornets are on a 10-0 run with 11 minutes, 15 seconds left to go in this half. Lancers need to start something here pretty soon. Welcome back up to the timeouts. The Hornets have had a 10-0 run. Lancers remain scoreless. 11:15 left in the half. And Amond will pass it in to Hammett. Quick swing over to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer back over to Hammett, and they cross half court. Pfeiffer finds Amond in the corner. Amon double teamed over to Hammett. Hammett out to Morrison. Morrison pulls up 3. Not quite there off the rim. Struggling for the rebound. Amon gets the rebound and he is fouled. Calkins is called on that one. Amon will be shooting 2. This one is no good. 2 subs for the Hornets. Amon made a second shot, but split was on the line, so it was no good. Cummings will take it up the floor. Swings it over to John. John. And that is a good finish there from Calkins. Pfeiffer takes his time across half court, gets it back over to Hammett, loses the ball, play on the floor. And that will go with the Hornets. John will pass it in, and Cummings will take it up. Swings it over to Anderson. Anderson gonna drive baseline. Out. Calkins takes over to Cummings, but Cummings is on the line. Lancers will get the ball back. Pfeiffer over to Hammett, back over to Pfeiffer. And that will be an over and back for the Lancers. Been trying to evade the slight press from the Hornets and getting them trapped at the half-court line after they cross over. Cummings over to Calkins. Handoff up top. Over to the left to Anderson, back up top. Calkins driving inside, stripped of it by Pfeiffer, and he will maintain hold. Finds Hammett. Hammett back over to Pfeiffer. And Hammett will be fouled before it is stolen away. Lance's ball on the side. Hammett stripped of it by Cummings. Hammett tries to get it back. Fighting on the ground. That'll be a jump ball. Same with Lancers. Morrison will come in for Hammett for the Lancers. Pfeiffer gets it across all the way to Albrecht. Albrecht out to Nikolai. Nikolai, jumper. Not quite there. And Jayhaven with the rebound. Swings it over to Cummings. Cummings pulls up for a three. Not quite there. Right into the hands. On the ground, rolling around. Morrison gets his hands on it finally. And swings it to Albrecht. Albrecht evading the double team. Over to Morrison. Morrison thinks about a three. Goes over to Ament. Albrecht in the corner. Takes a three. Chipped. Tries to get it to Pfeiffer. But ends up with Albrecht in the corner. Tip stolen away by Cummings. Cummings one-on-one with Pfeiffer. Pulls up, unable to finish. Laufenberg trying to get there. Calkins receives the pass, unable to finish. Dayhaven looking for someone. Finds Anderson. Anderson thinking about it. Hands off to Cummings. Cummings over to Laufenberg. Dayhaven thinking about the three, unable to finish it. Nice three there from Anderson though. The pass from Dayhaven. 15-0 with 8 minutes left. Lancers really need to get something going. Ament. Pass over to Morrison. Morrison back over to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer looking for someone. Gets it, swings it to Amond. Back over to Pfeiffer. Back over to Amond. Amond three! Not quite there. And Anderson gets the rebound. Swings it to Cummings. Cummings over to Calkins. Calkins gonna drive, pull up. Gets it down to the post. That will travel along the top of the backboard, but eventually go off. Lancers call a 30-second timeout. We'll be back in a few. Will be Lancers ball coming out of the timeout. 15-0. Lancers have yet to score. Hornets defense has really got to them. Pfeiffer up top. Gonna try to drive over to Morrison in the corner. Albrecht driving around. Hand off to Nikolai. But goes a little far. Nikolai is unable to recover. Sarana Gorostitia will take it up. Over to DeHaven. Over to Anderson. Anderson looking for someone. Finds Gorostitia. Out. Fakes a three. Pulls up. Calkins. Sorry, not Calkins. Laufenberg pulls up. Unable to finish, and today has a Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer over to Albrecht. Albrecht gets it into Nikolai at the corner. Back over to Albrecht. Pfeiffer thinks about three, doesn't take it, over to Albrecht. Back to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer. Swim back to Albrecht. Pfeiffer gonna drive inside. Back out to Albrecht. Albrecht gonna drive inside. Tries to get it to Pfeiffer, but Gorostitia steals it away. Three from Anderson. Knocks it down! A little bit of press from Gorostitia here. Morrison will bring it across half. Over to Albrecht in the corner. Albrecht gets it right before it goes out of bounds. Kicked by Laufenberg and staying with the Lancers. Two subs in for the Lancers. Amon will throw it in for the Lancers. Get it into Hammett. Hammett trying to dribble inside. Out to Morrison. Morrison looking. Finds Hammett. Hammett double team. Morrison double team. Schmidt will be fouled as he tries to make his way to the basket. Once again, White will pass it in down low. Although the Hornets are leading, they have 6 fouls while the Lancers have none. Schmidt, quick jumper, goes long. So that could be proved to be troubling later. Gorostitia will slow it up here. Over to Anderson. DeHaven, passing it out top. Wagner tries to pass it in. Laufenberg misses the shot. Hammett, Morrison, back to top to Hammett. Hammett trying to find someone, ducks through the defense, eventually gets it out of Morrison. Amon takes about 3, pulls up, and into the hands of Gorostitia. Gorostitia pulls up, not quite there, and Nikolai gets the rebound. Enter a bonus. Amon trying to drive around. Tipped by Gorostitia, but Hammett will recover. And pass it to Morris. Hammett pulls up a three. Not quite there off the rim. Gorostito with the rebound. Wagner thinks about it over to Anderson. Anderson puts it back over to Wagner. And the Hornets will call a timeout. Pfeiffer preparing to enter for the Lancers, and he will enter after the timeout. Just under 4 minutes left to go in this first half. Score remains 18-0. Hornets have a sizable lead. And Gorostito will pass it in from down low. Anderson, three! Goes long. Rebounds. Knocks it down. Laufenberg. Hammett. Trying to find someone. Gets it over to Amon. Amon, three! Not quite there off the rim. And into the hands of Dayhaven. Hand off to Gorostito. Hand off to Anderson. Anna pushes his way in. And Pfeiffer will be fouled. Sub for the Lancers. Hammett swinging it to Pfeiffer. Deep pass to Amon. And that will be tipped out of bounds by Dayhaven. Albrecht gets it into Hammett. Hammett, three! Not quite there. Lancers are 0 for 3 on threes tonight. Wagner to push it over to Anderson all alone. Nice layup there. 22-0. Lancers are having a really hard time with their offense here. Lots of subs on the bench for the Hornets now. Amon in the corner. Hammett trying to outmaneuver Gorostito. Albrecht, nice! Knocks it down! Good execution there from Hammett and Albrecht to score the Lancers' first points of the night. Gorostito hands out. Dayhaven, not quite there with the three. Amon gets it. Hammett saves it from out of bounds. And Hammett's getting a break to tie his shoe. An entire team substitution for the Hornets right before this half ends. Mass man is pressing. Pfeiffer trying to find somebody. Slick will foul Pfeiffer. And Lancers are in bonus, so he will be shooting. He knocks it down. Pfeiffer's first shot is good. 3-22, Lancers down by 19. Pfeiffer's second. No good, rolls off the rim. And Strussel will hand it off to Cummings up top. Cummings down to Strussel, handoff. Big play there, and is successful. Bassman getting a score for the Hornets. Pfeiffer back to Hammett. Hammett, long pass over the corner to Amond. Back up to Pfeiffer. Hammett in the corner to Albrecht. Albrecht three! Hits off the backboard, and Bassman will get the rebound and push it all the way. And puts one down. Bassman has 4 in the minute he's been playing. 4 points. Hammett, corner to Amon. Amon tries to get it back in, but he will step on the line out of bounds. And he will turn over the ball. Cummings bringing it up. Passes over to Flick. Flick driving inside. Out to Cummings. Cummings gets a screen from Strussel. He's trying to find someone. Gets it over to Strussel in the corner. Strussel hit by that was John with the score. Less than a minute left to go. Albrecht over to Amon. Amon puts one up. No foul called, but he doesn't make the shot. Strussel over to Cummings. Less than 30 seconds. Flick gets it into the corner. Driving inside. Bassman unable to finish. Hammett tries to get it around and get it fast. Albrecht over to Amon. Nikolai not able to finish the reverse layup. And Cummings will have 5 seconds to do something. Flick knocked down the three. And that will complete the first half. 31-3. Hornets lead by 28. We'll see you in 5 minutes for the second half. Welcome back after the half. The Hornets lead by 28, 31-3. Lancers have had one basket and a free throw. We need to step it up this second half. Cummings will take it up the court. Down to Laufenberg. Laufenberg dribbling around. Out to Calkins. Back up top. To Massman. Over to Cummings. Finds Flick in the corner. Puts one up. Cummings gets his own rebound. But that will slip out his fingers and go back to Lancers. Pass over to Hammett. Hammett wisely lets it go out of bounds, and he'll pass it in from the side. Hammett finds Pfeiffer past half court. Pfeiffer dribbling around the defender. Finds Nikolai. Schmidt in the corner. Albrecht. Pfeiffer three. Not quite there. Nikolai with the rebound. But it's on the floor and picked up by Calkins. Cummings going all the way through. Out to Flick. Flick puts one up. Unable to finish. Rebounded by Cummings. Cummings to try to pull one up. Attempted strip by Albrecht. Out to Laufenberg. Laufenberg fakes. Throws a pass right out of bounds. My guess is he's aiming to get to Cummings. Hammett will take it up the floor. Hammett over to Albrecht. Albrecht fakes the three. Drives in. Puts up a shot. Unable to finish it into the hands of Flick. Cummings. Inside to Calkins. No foul is called as Calkins tries to put one up, but Hammett will take it down. Trying to outmaneuver Cummings. Nikolai faking. Pass out to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer to Hammett. Hammett searching. Gets inside to Schmidt. Schmidt puts one up. Knocks it down. 5-31. Lancers now down by 26. Cummings over to the corner. Flick driving inside, puts one up, unable to finish. Calkins puts another one up, unable to finish as well. Cummings three, unable to finish. And Hammett gets it over to Pfeiffer. Albrecht drives inside, rolling on the ground, and picked up by Calkins. Cummings, fake three. Flick tries the three, unable to finish. Albrecht and Laufenberg were on the ground there. Miscommunication. But Nikolai will hand it off to Hammett after Lancers steal. Nikolai down low. Finds Hammett outside. Three! Not quite there. Pass down to Massman. Massman driving inside. Puts one up. And finishes. Hammett. Deep pass to Schmidt. Schmidt. Nikolai. Stolen away by Flick. But that will be a jump ball. Stay with the Lancers. Lancers will have the ball passing in down low. Pfeiffer trying to find someone. Gets Amon. Amon puts one up. No good. And Laufenberg will pass it over to Flick. Flick pulls up, fakes the three. Massman takes the three deep. unable to finish, goes a little far. Laufenberg is stripped of it and goes out of bounds. Morrison comes in for Albrecht. Pass into Cummings. Cummings takes three, pulls up, jumper, not quite there. Rebound by Pfeiffer. But it'll stay with the Hornets after it goes out of bounds. It's the pass that's stolen away by Amon. Amon with Massman. Nolan tries for the three, unable to finish though. And Cummings will eventually get the rebound. Cummings has a flick, driving inside all the way over to Laufenberg. And Laufenberg will try to shoot, but he will be fouled. If I'm not wrong, that is the first foul on the Lancers tonight. Laufenberg's first is no good. Sub in for the Lancers. Laufenberg second. It's no good as well. Schmidt will try it, but Morrison ends up with the rebound. Pfeiffer. Less press from the Hornets here, but Morrison will find Hammett. Rosendahl. Morrison thinks about the three, but drive inside instead, and he will be fouled. It's like Flick tried to block the shot. And Rosendahl will pass it in. Rosendahl out to Hammett. Hammett spinning around. Out to Rosendahl. Over to Pfeiffer. Back to Hammett. Morrison. Schmidt fakes, drives inside. Tipping around and rebounded after the attempted shot by Flick. Corner. Calkins takes the three, pulls inside, unable to finish. And Hammett passes deep to Morrison. Morrison all the way over to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer with the three! Goes short. And Laufenberg will get the rebound. Calkins over to Laufenberg. Flick fakes the three, gonna drive inside, puts one up, and finishes. Nice drive. 36-5. Hornets up by 21. Schmidt all alone, reverse layup, knocks it down. 36-7. Miscommunication there on defense for the Hornets. And Massman will drive inside and go a little bit long on the layup. Pfeiffer needs somebody, finds Morrison. Dribble out, finds Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer over to Hammett. Hammett gonna try to drive, puts one up, goes hard off the backboard. And Rosendahl will be a foul in an attempt to grab the rebound. Three subs from each team as we reach under the 10-minute mark. Rosendahl trying to find someone, gets Amon. Amon driving inside, out to Morrison, over to Albrecht. Albrecht stripped of it by Cummings. Cummings and Albrecht one-on-one. Morrison arrives to help. And Anderson finishes it in the end. 38-7. Hornets still have a sizable lead. Albrecht over to Morrison. Back up to Amon. Nikolai Tries to pull up for a shot, unable to, and is blocked. Amond. Amond will travel before he can get the pass off to Nikolai. Cummings will lead the offense here. Anderson driving, gets it out to Women. Unable to finish, fighting for down low. And Anderson will pass it in for the possession of the Hornets. Back up top to Gorostita. Driving inside, Cummings, down low, fade away, and he knocks it down. Albrecht will take it up. Morrison's hands are unable to catch the ball, and Black will take the ball back. Gorosita. Anderson in the wing. Back to Wagner. Massman in the corner. Down low to Anderson. Anderson puts one up. Hits the underside of the backboard. Out to Wagner. Wagner, three! Unable to finish. And Amond gets the rebound. Stripped, and Amond will be fouled by Calkins. Hammett will take the ball up for the Lancers. Hammett finds Nikolai fighting on the ground with Calkins. But that'll be a jump ball. Albrecht trying to find somebody. Gets it into Nikolai. Out to Amond. Amond thinks about a three, goes to Hammett. Hammett will take the three, and he knocks it down! Lancers break double digits late in the second half. 10-42. Anderson out to Calkins. Down low to Wagner. Wagner puts one up, goes a little far, and Anderson will bring it out to reset. Over to Massman. Massman driving inside, pulls one up and knocks it down. He will be fouled and take shots at the line. 10-44. Hornets lead by 34. Schmidt in for Rosendahl. Massman's first, no good. Rebounded by Calkins. Over to Anderson. Fighting for it. Back out to Massman. Gorostita will take it. And that'll be a timeout by the Hornets. 44-10. Hornets, 34-point lead. 7 minutes left to go in this game. Welcome back after the timeout. Hornets have the ball with 7 minutes to go and a 34-point lead. Anderson driving inside, pulls one up, knocks it down. Nice drive, nice finish. Albrecht to the corner. Schmidt fakes the three, but he will travel. Lancers trying to stay in the game here. But struggling to do so. Gorostito. Over to Massman. Swings it to Calkins. Rolling on the floor. Rebounded by Anderson. And Schmidt will foul Anderson on the layup. Both teams have 3 fouls now. And Anderson will go to the line. His first is good. Morrison comes in for Hammett. Anderson second is also good. 48-10. Lancers down by 38. Albrecht gonna go all the way in. No shot, but he'll be fouled. Albrecht gets it into Morrison. Pushes it out to Amon. Amon gonna drive in. Spin move, unable to finish his layup though. And Calkins will receive the rebound. Anderson pushes out. Calkins, 3, unable to finish. Amon with the rebound. All the way down to Schmidt. Finds Nikolai. Nikolai all alone. Knocks it down! Calkins effectively leaps over Schmidt. Unable to block the pass though, and Schmidt gets an open. Gorostito tipped by Albrecht. Albrecht all alone with Gorostito a couple rows behind, and he is fouled! Albrecht will go to the line. I don't think the fouls on the scoreboard are right. Or they were wrong before. Albrecht makes her first one. Fouls for both teams. Subs coming in. The fouls for both teams are very opposite. Hornets have 5. Lancers have 1. Albrecht's second is also good. 14-48. Lancers down by 34. Cummings over to Anderson. Anderson's gonna drive, trapped. Finds Laufenberg. Laufenberg puts one up, tipped. It is the hands of Schmidt. Albrecht spinning around, tries to get inside. Out to Morrison. Morrison fakes the 3. Gets it into Albrecht. Not quite there for the finish. And Cummings will push it down with little defenders from the Lancers. Anderson pulls up for a jumper, knocks it down. Albrecht finds Nikolai. Nikolai going around. Albrecht trying to drive inside. Can't quite do it. Morrison over to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer driving around. Finds Albrecht. Back to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer gets a serious screen. Takes it. Nikolai! Unable to finish. Cummings over to Anderson. Anderson gets a screen. Passes over to Flick. Flick over to Cummings. Cummings gonna drive inside. Pulls up for a jumper. Knocks it down. 14-52. Pfeiffer will take it up for the Lancers. Fine. Stole away by Calkins. Calkins 1-on-1 with Pfeiffer. And Calkins is not quite able to finish. Schmidt rolling on the ground with Calkins, unable to finish. Again, Laufenberg Multiple shots being taken, but Pfeiffer will get the ball back. And the Lancers will call a timeout, 52-14. Lancers down by a significant amount. 3.5 minutes left to go. Welcome back. 3.5 minutes left to go in the game. 14-52. Hornets leading. Morrison over to Pfeiffer. Pfeiffer looks at Morrison, doesn't decide to do it. Stolen away by Gorosita. Hands it off to Flick. Flick is looking for someone. Back out to Gorosita. Fakes the three. That'll be a foul on the Hornets. That'll be their 6th. Hammett taking it up. Finds Rosendahl. Tipped away by Calkins. Calkins manages to keep it inside. Calkins pulls up, knocks it down. Hammett swings around Gorosito. Morrison over to Pfeiffer. Hand off to Hammett. Hammett puts up the three. Not quite there, off the rim. Rothenberg jumps for the ball, but trips and falls. Knocking down the Lancer in the process. A sub for each team. Aiming for Pfeiffer. And Wagner for Rothenberg. And Gorosito will take the ball and give it to Anderson. Anderson stuck up top. Finds Wagner. Wagner back up to Anderson. Anderson driving inside. She's stripped off the knee, and that'll be going to the Lancers. Less than 2 minutes left to go. Morrison will take it up. Lancers down by 40. Looking pretty bleak here. Amon driving inside. Out to Hammett. Morrison thinks about the three, doesn't. Drives inside. Tries to get it. Finds Hammett instead. Amon, three. Not quite there. A little short off the rim. Anderson saves the ball right before he goes out of bounds, but refs doesn't think so, and he steps on the line. Quick return for the Lancers. Less than a minute left to go. Lancers trying to get some more points back on the board. Rosendahl over to Hammett. Hammett will travel. Clock is still running. Gorosita, less than 30 seconds left. Over to Flick. Flick, driving inside. Anderson. He may just try to wait this one out. Hands off to Wagner. 10 seconds left. Wagner will just dribble it. And that will be the game. 54-14 is your final score. Lincoln Hornets win it by 40. Thank you for watching. This is Maggie Seibel behind the camera, Drew Eichster behind the microphone. Stay tuned for the varsity matchup between the Lincoln Hornets and the Manual Lutheran Lancers. Thank you for watching. Tune in live in a little bit.